My name is Matt Myers, and today I'm here to show you how I built a lifestyle of freedom through Amazon Wholesale. This is a business where I buy products from various suppliers and distributors in bulk, and I sell them for quite a bit of profit margin on Amazon.com directly. This video is going to be a complete step-by-step guide on how to get started from quite literally zero. If you have a limited budget, I want to let you know that that's totally fine. There's a lot of misinformation out there that you need some ridiculous amount of money to start. You do not. That's false. Also, if you have a 9 to 5 as well, this is for you as well. You are able to work a 9 to 5 and funnel that money directly into the business. You will be fine as well. Anyways, without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Okay, so welcome to the free course. We're going to go into some housekeeping things just to get things started. First of all, you guys obviously are going to need to sign up for what's called an Amazon professional seller account. So I want to go on here and give you guys an idea of exactly what it is shortly. So long story short, there's a few incentives that come with it, but it is $40 a month. You're not going to be able to get the buy box without signing up for a seller account. And all the buy box is the buy it now option. If you've ever noticed on Amazon, there's plenty of other sellers in the buy from other sellers below the buy box. Whoever's in the buy box gets sales. So whoever is in the buy it now option gets sales. Secondly, there's a few required softwares. You're going to need a repricer of some sort. My repricer of choice is SellerSnap, and I'm going to explain why a little later in this video. There's Seller Amp, which is your profit sort of tool calculator. So if I go to any given item, we're going to go to this Mac Mini. So if we go right here, as you can clearly see, this is the profit calculator. This is called Seller Amp. You're going to need this in order to run your business profitably. Without this, you're not going to be able to see what you're going to need to buy products at. So as you can see, $13.99, to get a 15% profit margin, which in wholesale is more than ideal, you're going to be looking for a $1,111 buy cost. Now, obviously, this is just one example. Next up, you're going to need what is here below. This is Keepa. You're going to need this in order to determine if Amazon is in the buy box, what your competition is, how many times it sells per month. As you can see on this yellow line, there's a monthly sold variable. So that will show you how many times it's selling per month. Down here, we have the offer count. So all these things are important. And also importantly, you're going to be able to check buy box statistics. So as you can see, there's the buy box statistics for this listing specifically. But those are the major few softwares that you're going to need. If you'd like to scale up your Amazon wholesale business quite a bit faster, if you're starting from zero or you need guidance, let me help you. I do one-on-one mentorships. You are free to book a call in the link in the description. It is definitely worth it in my opinion. We have a very high success rate. If you want to be the next success story, feel free to book a call down below. The Calendly link is there. There's going to be a questionnaire you need to fill out, but after you fill that out, I will personally hop on a call with you. We will see if it is a great fit, and assuming it is, I'll be right there holding your hand to help you take yourself to the moon. So I'm excited to get started with you guys. Other than that, let's get back to the video. Okay, so here we have a good product for wholesale right here. This is one I just recently found, reverse sourcing a few wholesale sellers that I already know. So first off, we have Dove Care men's spray. This sells, as you can see, it does have the stamp 10,000 plus bought per month. Now, the first thing you have to understand when you're getting started in wholesale at all is that the buy box is quite a bit different. So it is totally fine to actually share the buy box with Amazon, which most people do not do and they're not willing to do. The moment they see this yellow right here in the Keepa chart all over, they don't want to even touch it. But I'm going to go into buy box statistics and give you guys an idea of what's actually going on here. Many people, even when they did OA, were not taught to look at this at all. So here, as we wait for it to load, you can see that Amazon is only dominating 1% of the buy box, but at first glance, that specific Keepa chart looks terrible. But as you can see, this is a wholesale seller with a 631 review count. They're dominating 43% of the buy box. Another wholesale seller, Magna Minds, right here, 1,514 reviews, dominating 20%. 20% of 10,000 is obviously 2,000 units per month. I think these are sourced at about $3 profit a unit, if I'm correct. I think I know where they're getting these from, but I'm going to leave that for another video. But as you can see, 10,000 right here reflects what we see up here. But the Keepa chart is different. It rotates totally differently. So on an OA listing, I'm actually going to pull one up. If I go to an old Nike sock listing, this is what all the old OA sellers were selling. And a lot of them still are. A lot of those guys who claim they do tons of numbers, they're almost all selling Nike socks if you actually have their storefronts. As you can see in here, these are all like smaller sellers, 51 reviews. You have a couple big ones, but a lot of these guys are real small. And if you look in the buy box statistics of a listing like this rotates quite a bit more. So down here, you can see there's a million different sellers taking a chunk of this 8K plus bought per month. The difference between wholesale buy boxes and OA buy boxes is simply rotation. You can see the second one, 29 reviews, not a big seller. Another one getting 6% share, 29 reviews. They're not really that big. It's much easier to win an OA buy box. It's also much easier to win an OA buy box while doing FBM. Wholesale is a totally different animal, just so you understand that, and we're on the same page about that. When we go back here, all these guys winning the buy box above 5% all have thousands of reviews. I don't have thousands of reviews myself. I have like a few hundred maybe, but like you can see right here, thousands of reviews, 8,252. And also one thing you notice when you're like actually in wholesale, you will be competing against a ton of these same people every single time. That's just something to note. It's a different buy box overall. The offer count as well, you could see is only like 9 to 12. Most wholesale products, it's far lower. If you go to these Nike socks, even after the regating, it's still in the 50s. So here, the next thing we have to actually look at is repricing. So repricing is very important because, as I stated before, you need to get in this buy box. This purchase, buy it now thing right here is very important to get into because, long story short, whoever is in there, as you would probably guess, gets all the sales, and it's not even remotely close. This is my repricer right here, and it's showing you all of my statistics. So $53,940 in sales in the last 30 days. In the last 7 days, we've actually done 12.8. Now, this would be a lot higher. I will say that right now. We're currently out of stock of our best product, but neither here nor there. But right here, we have total listings, 35 active listings. This is very important because this is what's called a game theory repricer. So it reprices based on your competitor's behavior, which is very important. Other repricers will just tank the listing and they tend to ruin a bunch of stuff. So that's not something you want to really get into to begin with. This is worth every penny. The Seller Snap subscription costs, they now have a starter plan, and this is for people under $15,000 in revenue. If that happens to be you, buy an annual plan. Don't even think about it, just buy the annual plan because you lock in that rate for a year, so you're going to be saving money over the long term. And that's what I did about a year ago, where I locked in the accelerator plan for the long term. So just understand that, and you get the best repricer on the market, hands down. All you really have to do is set up the AI. It does dynamic maxes and whatnot, a bunch of other things. You know, Seller Snap, we can do a whole video on that, bring them on the channel, a bunch of things later. But this is the best repricer. This is what's going to win you the most buy box share. Okay, so I just pulled up my Seller Central just to give you an idea of how good this repricer actually is. So as you can see, we have the sales amount for the day. We're currently already at $2,379. Eastern time, it's currently, 9 p.m. Here on the West Coast, because I'm in Los Angeles, it's 6. So the day's not even near over yet, and it's still pumping. I'm going to guess it's probably going to end around $2,800 in sales, but that's neither here nor there. More importantly, we have the featured offer, which is the most important thing. This is up to 12%, which means on average, we're getting the featured offer 12% of the time. I can absolutely guarantee you, if you have no repricer, you are not getting a 12% featured offer unless it's your brand or there's barely anyone on the listing. You need a repricer. It's crazy how many businesses and Amazon sellers do not have it. It is the absolute dumbest thing you can do in this business. Do not even think about it. You need to get a repricer. So Seller Snap is very important. It also, like I showed you, calculates profit, does everything like that for you. And it's just a fantastic product. I hope to bring them on the channel soon. Next, more importantly, I'm going to teach you the meaty things of this video, and that's going to be actually approaching distributors. This is very important, and you have to know exactly how to do it. You want, in my opinion, you want to be doing outreach via email. A lot of people think you should be cold calling. Yeah, let me get on the phone and call. You're going to need to call, but the point is, these people don't know who you are. And it is far more simplistic and easier to run volume, because this is a volume game, over email than it would be calling distributors, finding their numbers, going through the robot to even get to a person over and over again. You're going to do way more volume over the course of a day than you will in terms of calls. And because of that volume, it's going to outweigh the easier closes you would get over the phone. And that's something you have to understand. Now, if there's an important distributor that you may know of and you may learn in your wholesale journey that is important and that you need to land it, yeah, get on the phone. But in terms of getting started and expanding your catalog in terms of distributors, you need to be emailing. I also recommend a Google Gmail account, because other emails, people aren't tech savvy, so they don't really understand this. They don't understand that if you are using a .com domain, so mine happens to be like m2enterprises something. So if you're using one of those business professional emails, if you're not using a Google hosted email, what's going to happen is it will go straight into their junk box, hence why your closing rate sucks. It is a little more expensive, but one, you get the Gmail portal, which is very important, and then two, as stated, you get the higher rate of delivery in terms of emails to their inbox. It's very important, and it's something you need to get. It's, in my opinion, a non-negotiable. I think it's like $8 or $9 a month. But more importantly, approaching them. So you want to be addressing yourself as an online retailer. The absolute dumbest thing you can do is email a given distributor, because they get thousands of emails and they're blown up. I mean, they're kind of like a bat bitch on her phone, right? So you have to understand, you need to address yourself as an online retailer. If you sit up there and say you're an Amazon seller, you have to understand what Amazon sellers actually do. If you've ever taken a look at the seller forums, it is just something to witness. It's ridiculous. These are the types of people that are reaching out to distributors. You do not want to be one of them. You want to address yourself professionally. You want to know, or you want to look like you know what you're doing, and eventually you will if you do this properly. You are an online retailer. You sell on e-commerce. You position yourself as such. You don't position yourself as an Amazon seller. That you don't even reveal you're an Amazon seller unless they ask, and they probably will. But what I like to say to that objection specifically would be something along the lines of, yes, Amazon happens to be one of our distribution channels, but we have a few. Now, eventually we get to the point where we become such a good client that I just reveal, yes, we are Amazon sellers. For the most part, we are pretty much strictly Amazon. It's a fantastic platform. It's the biggest platform in the world. You know, if they hate Amazon sellers, ask why. Figure out why, hit on their pain points, and prove to them you can be a better customer. This is very important. If you don't do this, you're going to constantly get denied. You need to be positioned as an online retailer. Also, if you're working in a group, which you should be doing in Amazon, you should have some sort of Amazon friends going around in your circle. A simple referral will get them in instantly if you are a good client. So I've done this for my own friends, my close friends, where we all work on Amazon together. We're going in on a purchase order together. I give my word, and you know, it's kind of like gospel to them. Like, if I give my word about someone, they're in. So that's just how it is. So that is basically, in a nutshell, how to approach distributors. You're an online retailer. Online retailer, sell on e-commerce. Some people even go as far as creating their own e-commerce website, which if you start searching up LLCs as storefronts, you're going to figure out who those people are. Plenty of wholesalers are doing it. They'll list it on the website, but long story short, they're not really selling it on the website. It's just appearing that way. So that's its own topic. Next, we have the UPC scanning process. So I personally like to use a software called Smart Scout. Referral links for everything will actually be in the description. So if you want to get free months and discounts, please feel free to use the links in the description. It supports the channel and helps me out a lot. Smart Scout, long story short, I'm going to go to smartscout.com. So Smart Scout is a brand research tool, but it also has, in my opinion, the best UPC scanner in the game. Now, maybe that has changed since it's been a couple of years since I started using it, but as far as I'm concerned right now, this is the best. Reason being, it catches bundles and whatnot, and all of the items are far easier to find on Smart Scout. Also, what you have to understand, and the reason you need this, is when you get a catalog from X distributor, usually it's going to be a spreadsheet with UPCs and things of that nature. It will basically track that UPC in relation to any given Amazon listing and then show you that specific listing on Amazon, and then your buy cost and everything is already in there because it's in the spreadsheet that any distributor gives you, and then you'll be able to determine whether or not it's profitable or not, and you can filter it very easily. So it's an important software, not to mention the brand direct benefits that come from this, but like as you can see, track brand visibility for any search term right here. There's a million things you can do. There's even a distributor tab, which I do recommend using, but that is, once again, a topic for another video. This is more for beginners. I don't want to go into advanced sort of techniques. Next, also what's important is a prep center. So prep centers basically allow you to turn this business into drop shipping. It's very important. If you don't have a prep center, like I don't know what you're doing, you're wasting time. You should not be using your valuable time prepping products and shipping products when your time, the best ROI in terms of return on investment on your time, is going to be outreaching and sourcing distributors for now. That is the most important. And the way you go ahead and do that is going to be something simply like getting a prep center, because they're doing that for you. You pay a flat fee, but it is far more simple than dealing with all this inventory, especially in wholesale. A lot of these things I sell happen to be 6-packs. You really want to be bundling 6-packs times thousands? No, you don't. So that's very important. The way you find a prep center, we're going to get straight to it. So there is a website currently called prepcenter.com, and you may have to do some trial and error. You can simply use this and find a prep center right here. But as you can see, these are all the prep centers across the United States. These are basically free shippers. They will get your item, prep it for you, meet Amazon's requirements, which is very important. If you don't, you're gonna get banned. As you can see, 5 stars right there. There's a million of them all over. You can zoom in on states and whatnot. Now, typically, for prep centers, if it's a no tax state, it will be more expensive because people are also using it for arbitrage. If it is a taxable state, it is typically going to be a cheaper cost per unit. Also, a lot of prep centers tend to have a certain amount of, what do you call it? A lot of prep centers have certain unit requirements that you need to meet. So also keep that in mind when you're reaching out to prep centers. Now, this is something probably most sellers won't even tell you is a valid website to use, but this is how you find good prep centers. And as you can see, there's a million of them. That's just simply something you can do. Go to a random one, Lucky Prep right here. I don't even know who these people are. And then you have the location, you have the phone number, you have the email, you have the website, you can do your outreach, and then, long story short, get an account with them. Some prep centers are hard to get accepted for. It's difficult. So just understand that as you're getting into a prep center. Next, we're going to get into how to even pay distributors, because most of them, if you've ever had a distributor before, require you to pay with ACH, which is a bank transfer. That's a big no-no. We don't do that over here. We have free traveling to do, and we have rewards to get. So what we use is Melio. So there's this thing called Melio.com. I'm going to leave a link in the description as well. You're going to sign up, and it's going to ask for business documents. And also, if I didn't mention, you're going to need a sales tax exempt certificate based on your state. That's something you're going to have to do your own research on. Very important as well, because that's how you're going to be tax exempt on all these orders, unless you're obviously doing business in the state of like New Hampshire or Oregon. But on here, long story short, Melio allows you to pay with credit cards. So you create an invoice, enter their bank account information, and add them as a vendor. When you add them as a vendor, you're then going to be able to pay them with credit card. It's very important that you use this because your cash flow is going to be seriously hurt if you're using strictly cash. You want to maximize your cash flow and be able to get quick turnover, hold money as long as you can, and then put it into diversified purchase orders across the board. Melio is going to help you with that, and it's going to allow it. Now, there is a 2.9% fee, but the opportunity cost of losing that money over the course of a month is far higher than 2.9%. Not to mention, credit cards like the Chase Ink Premier give you 2.5% cash back on purchase orders over $5,000. So you're basically negating the fee down to 0.4%. So that's just something to note on. So Melio is going to be very important. Okay, so now we're getting into the most important part of the video. How do you actually find distributors? Okay, so there's a ton of absolute garbage info out here. They like just like this is so 2018. What people say, and it's just not this at all. Like I'm gonna give you it straight up. It's so much easier than you think. So Dove, right here, the same product I showed you earlier. You're going to go to Dove's website. We're gonna go down here, and we're going to look in this specific section. You're going to get used to looking in this specific section on many websites. So let's see exactly. So there's where to buy. This would be an option to look at, but contact us as well. So there's send us a query. That's an option, but I think the more effective thing, there's one chatting on the website, but then the more effective thing, in my opinion, would be speaking to the care line team. So what you're going to want to do is call on the phone, and this is how you're going to be able to abide by Amazon's terms. If you don't call the brand on the phone and you're outreaching to some random distributor, you're going to get garbage. And if you don't know, supply chain matters in this business tremendously. If you don't have proper supply chain, you're going to get banned. And if you can't tell, it's pretty easy to get banned if you don't know what you're doing. Hence why, in my opinion, having a mentorship and stuff along those lines is actually a very good thing. But for example, you're going to call this phone number. You're going to ask, we are an online e-commerce retailer. We're looking to stock your product in our store, yada, yada, yada. What are your authorized distributors in X area? And the reason you want to ask for X area is because that kind of niches it down where you're looking at. Now, you're going to want to ask for authorized distributors in X area also because you want them to be able to deliver to your warehouse, and that also is words for your prep center, which is important because there's many distributors I have that I need a specific prep center for. They don't deliver, or at least deliver cheaply a lot of times, to a specific prep center in another state. That's why this is very important. So this is an example. You're going to get on the phone, call Dove. You're going to try and ask for their authorized brands. Authorized distributors. If they don't give you it, you're going to hang up on this idiot because the person you're speaking to is a low-level, underpaid agent. You're going to recall again, and you're simply going to ask, hey, I would like to speak to a supervisor. This is regarding a Dove Wholesale account. We're from X company. Basically business lingo in order to get through the dumb person at the front. Then when you get to somebody who's actually competent, you're going to be able to speak with them and then re-ask the same question, and you're going to keep doing this. And this is a very easy way and the most efficient and superior way to get suppliers. If you do it this way, your life is going to be a million times easier. So another easy way to do it would be going on a listing like this, finding someone who's clearly a wholesale seller. You got 631 reviews, likely not arbitrage. Very few and far in between do people have that many reviews for arbitrage. Deals to grab right here. 8,245 reviews, probably a wholesale seller, right? So you want to find a good wholesale product, and then what you're simply going to do is call up the brand. I would email them as well. Sometimes you'll get the answer over email, and then you're going to get a list of distributors that way. And this kills so many birds with one stone, and mainly you're able to ensure they're one, authorized, and two, the brand gave you it directly, so if you ever get requested supply chain by Amazon, you're never going to get screwed over because you did everything properly. So that is exactly how you source wholesale distributors. It's far easier than most people make it out to be. And everyone wants to withhold this information from you for whatever reason. I guess it's too good, and I decided to put in a free video. So hopefully you guys appreciate that. I think that's some valid sauce. But yeah, assuming you contact the brand, any given brand that is worth selling, like honestly, this is wholesale. It's definitely slimmer margins. You're probably going to want preferably 200 plus bought per month unless the item sells a higher profit margin or there's a lower offer count on the listing. That's, using your own discernment. But, when you get distributors with even one authorized brand, like let's say you contacted Dove, guess what? They probably are authorized for plenty of brands. This is not just a Unilever Dove wholesale account. This is a distributor. They're massive. They're in with a ton of brands. So it's not just them. And that's something that is also very important. So assuming you do everything right, there you go. You landed your first distributor just from watching this free course. Fantastic. And that's how you run a profitable wholesale business. Definitely easier said than done. This is a lot of work. It's a very difficult and arduous process. But assuming you do everything properly, you're going to be perfectly fine. I promise you're going to be perfectly fine. And everyone wants to overcomplicate things. Everyone wants to lie to you and give you garbage online. There's people who did wholesale from 2018 who were successful that are trying to give coaching and course advice in 2026. They aren't actually running the business. I'm actually running the business, and this is how it works. And this is, in my opinion, the most effective way to do it. Now, another way to do it, to give you some more thoughts, would be going to shows. So, assuming you're in Amazon circles, if you're not, definitely start networking and whatnot with Amazon sellers. There are these shows. So there's plenty of shows for different categories of distributors. If you go to the show, you're honestly almost guaranteed to get the account, unless they don't take Amazon sellers. Like some of them just don't entirely. But a lot of times you can reposition yourself as, like I told you before, e-commerce, whatever, and you'll get it in person. I'd probably say your hit rate's probably going to be like 50% at one of these shows, assuming they just don't all hate Amazon sellers, which usually they don't. But that's another way to do it. I mean, there's like a million ways to do it, but I think these two are the most effective and what I want to recommend in this video. Okay, so long story short, that is it for this free course. If you are looking for one-on-one mentorship and you want to speed up your process dramatically, I highly recommend you book a call with me down below. I'm going to teach you one-on-one, and you're going to be able to scale probably a million times faster. I think the opportunity cost justifies itself when buying mentorships, assuming the person you're buying it from actually knows what they're talking about. I highly recommend it. You're going to speed up your process way faster, everything along the lines. If you are interested, book a call with me down below. There is a questionnaire you're going to have to fill out, and make sure all the requirements are met prior to booking a call. Other than that, I appreciate you watching. If you got any value from this at all, please share it with your friends, like the video, and comment down below what you thought or any questions you may have. I'll be answering everything in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys later.